let's get started. I don't know if I'm the best person to give advice, but I guess I'm going to. Fan in the background, could you please turn off? Trans 101, episode 1, hype. Can that wind please stop? I'm trying to film a video. Oh, it's not wind, it's a plane. Oh. Wow, and I'm making an advice video right now and I didn't know the difference between wind and a plane. Me. Okay, so this is the first sort of episode in the Trans 101 LGBT 101 series. I started this series because I did a poll on the channel. I wanted to add a new segment. I wanted to add some new stuff that you guys wanted. And a lot of people said they actually wanted a Trans 101 giving advice to trans people and their parents and families and, you know, people who are going to be associating with trans people as well, how to deal with that. So in this first episode, I actually don't think I've properly made a video about this, but it is how to know if you are transgender. This works for anyone who's really just questioning the gender thing, and I guess we should start off with, because I'm going to make these videos rather snappy because, you know, no one wants to hear me ramble on for about an hour about it, but I think we should start off with the definition. So being transgender is basically someone who identifies as a gender other than their sex assigned at birth. The question is, do you feel like you are a different gender than the sex you were born with? So for example, I'm a trans man, which means that I was born as a female, but I feel like I am a man. And that's how I identify. I identify as a man, but my sex assigned at birth was female, and I'm transitioning at the moment. However, you don't have to feel like you are the exact opposite gender to what you were assigned at birth. So for example, even though I identify as one of the binary genders, I identify as a man, but I was born as a female, so that's the opposite. You don't have to, because there is non-binary. I think that gender is a spectrum and the word transgender is an umbrella term. So you can identify anywhere from the range of female to male. You can go in between, it can be neutral in the center, it can be leaning on one side, leaning on the other. It can, in some cases, both. There are so many different ways in which people identify. And I would love to tell you every single way, and I may make videos about it in the future, but the only way you can really tell, because there are so many different identities, so many different people on the online forum that are speaking about their own identifications, all you can do is research. Like, if you're not sure you're one of the binary genders, if you don't think, oh, I'm definitely male, I'm definitely a man, or I'm definitely identify as a woman, then you can research, because there are so many different types, groups of people who are coming together who identify in similar ways, that can speak about their experience, speak about their identities in the little group, because it's hard for any different gender identity. Even though being transgender, we all understand certain roles in the umbrella term. We understand what it's like and we can still discuss it. But every little different identity, sometimes you do want to belong to a group or an identity, but you don't have to. As you don't need to choose between a particular identity. If you just want to be called trans, you can just be called trans. If you just want to be known as non-binary, you can be known as non-binary. You don't have to give yourself an exact identity. Basically, ask people, search it on the internet, go on YouTube. You know, if you have friends who are transgender, go ask them, because the way I sort of found out, and I think this is the way that is very useful for at least a lot of people I know, is when I was 16, started at 16, I started dressing more and more masculine. So when I was 16, I basically started wearing more and more what would be seen as men's clothing. And I started wearing that more and more. And then I actually started experimenting with gender. So I actually started saying, I cut my hair very short, and that felt right. I wore more men's clothing, that felt right. I started doing things, and I sort of just listened to how I was feeling about them. So as I wore more men's clothes, it just felt more right. As I cut my hair, it just felt more right with me. I was feeling less dysphoric. And dysphoria is one of the big things. If you're starting to feel dysphoria, then you start to think, oh, but it's hard to know what dysphoria is. Are you just uncomfortable with your body in just in a way where you're like, oh, I don't like this and that, or is it because of the identity? And that's a hard thing to distinguish between. I think that's one of the main things. But you just do things until they feel more right. And what I did is I actually came out as non-binary first. I started experimenting with non-binary genders. I asked my friends to call me they or he, or, you know, or a mix between them. Gender fluid, demi guy I came out as, a demi boy, and gender fluid. So I experimented with that. And they started to feel slightly more right, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted. And as I wore more men's clothing, at the end of the summer holiday, I watched a video by Ty Turner, a YouTube video, which is another way of research. Watching YouTube videos, I guess, is what you're doing right now. I watched a YouTube video of Ty Turner where he was basically just speaking about his transition. I think it was a timeline of transition. I didn't even know you could transition. And that's when I realized I was like, that's me. I didn't even know you could. I mean, I was very emotional. I was there like, oh my God, because it all hit me at once that yes, I'm a trans man. And that is how I discovered who I was and my identity. And so I went and watched a bunch of other trans YouTubers, a bunch of not even non-binary YouTubers, just to see if that was definitely my gender. And what you can do that too. There's plenty non-binary and other transgender, like binary transgender as well, people on the YouTube platform. You can watch videos, there's so many now, and so I just recommend searching it up, and you should be able to find at least, well, if you don't find it, then you're not transgender and you know, really, but I mean, if you do find something, then you can just slowly research it more and see what feels right. So all you have to do is try it out. I mean, obviously gender expression and gender identity are two separate entities. They don't have to be combined, but often one does help the other. So me expressing myself as more masculine helped me realize my gender identity. So just try it out. One day get your friends to call you he, see how that feels. Get your friends or whoever to call you a different name for a little bit. Start dressing in what would be seen as more men's clothes, or start dressing as what would be seen as more women's clothes. See how your body feels with your gender expression, and then start thinking maybe about your gender identity. Just get try different ones out. That's basically what I did, and that's all you can really do. Just try it out. And really, I think the thing is, see how it feels. Just see how it feels. When it starts to feel more right, do more of that, and eventually you'll sort of get to a point where you are happy. As it feels more right, it's sort of like an exponential curve. It'll sort of like round off, and you'll get to a point where you're like, you know what, this is how I like. And if it's just the gender expression you're wanting to play around with, and it's not your gender identity, that's fine. If it is your gender identity and you've discovered what gender identity you are, that's great as well. And I think the main thing is, it's all about trying it out. I think that's the perfect quote. It's all about trying it out, because that's all you can do at the end of the day. I hope I've helped a little bit. I think this topic is something you can't really there's not an answer to it. Everyone discovers in different ways. People feel different ways, feel dysphoria in different ways. And so it's really hard for me to just tell you how to know that you're trans, because it's such a whole convoluted thing to discover yourself. So really, you don't have to rush into knowing your identity. It's all about trying it out. So thank you guys for watching. This was the first episode of my Trans 101. The next episode, I don't know what it's going to be about, but I may put it to a vote for you guys, probably on my Instagram, maybe on a poll on my channel every month. So this is this month's episode. Next month should be in February, end of February. So I just want to say thank you guys for watching. I hope all of you lovelies have, it's helped you maybe think about the identity or something like that. If you're new here and if you just came here to see this video, please subscribe, because I'm going to be making more of these videos helping you with your own identities and helping other people with your identities as well. And go to my social media links in the description down below, because I post on them very regularly. Well, sort of regularly. Probably should be more regular. Subscribe and click that notification bell, because you just, to see more of my videos. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. Oh. Hey babes. I don't know what I'm doing. Ooh, Vogue. Strike the pose. Oh dear.